Right, today we're going to be talking bottom bait rig and the most versatile and effective rig that I've used for so many years and caught loads of big fish and loads of small fish on. So it really is a rig you can take anywhere and fish bottom baits and wafters. So let's get into it. So the rig we're going to talk about today is the one I call the anti-blowback rig. Now the blowback rig has been around years, originally invented by Kevin Nash, and when you see the original blowback, it's got a little ring on the shank that basically allows the fish to suck in the bait while exposing the hook, then blowing the ring back down. If you're on a lake where there's a lot of nuisance fish and your bait is getting moved around a lot, you can end up with an unset rig. By putting the shrink tube in on the back of the hook, it keeps your rig in the set position all the time. So let's look at how I tie it and how I make it really effective. So one of the great things about this rig is you can use pretty much any rig material you'll want to tie it. So if you're fishing in close and you want a supple hook link, you can tie it in that. Or if you're fishing a long way and you want a stiff link material, you can also tie it in that. Like I said, it's very versatile and can be fished in almost any situation. So I'll start off with a good 12 to 15 inches of Camo X in 25, which is my favourite hook link. And this is a coated hook link, but it's quite supple, and off of that I'll take about 4.5 inches of coated braid. So strip that coating away, then simply in the end tie an overhand knot to create your hair. Like so. Give that a little pull to make sure it's tight. And just snip off the tag end. So what I like to do when doing this is take out one of the baits you're going to use. In this instance, it's a yellow wafter, and put it onto the hair. This will allow you to get the exact measurement you need when tying the hair. So simply slip it on. So you've basically got it just like that. And then you're going to take your hook, which is a size 4 beak point, and from here you're going to tie a knotless knot, and you want to leave it a little bit longer than you normally would, because once you add the shrink tube in, it will pull the hair a bit tighter. I like my hairs quite long, and I'll explain why later on in the video, but about there's good, with about 5mm off the bottom. One, two, three, 4 away from where the hook is joined with its forge, so it isn't pulling into anything. Back through the back of the eye, like so. So you've basically got a liner set up, and to this I'm now going to add 2 bits of shrink tubing. The first bit being a very small bit, and the second bit I'm going to snip down to about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to slide that down as well, and we'll just let them drop to the bottom before we add a little rubber anti-tangle sleeve as well. So we've got everything we need on the hook link. Now I'm going to measure that hook link to 7 inches on my box. 7 inches is my preferred length of a rig fishing over, but if I had to do or die, it would definitely be 7 inches. Then on this end I tie a figure of 8 knot, which is dead simple. You just double it over, make a loop, and the easiest way to do it is just twist that loop and poke your end back through, creating the figure of 8. Then I wet that down, stick it on my pulling tool and just pull that knot down nice and tight. So that is basically your rig. Snip off the tag end and you are ready to go, other than using the kettle to steam them down. And there's a certain way you want to be steaming this down, and I will talk you through it. Okay, so when you shrink this, I basically just push the shrink tube in just over the eye and the knot. Don't go too deep with it. Lift it up and then pull the shrink tube at about a 40-degree angle. Then you'll see that that's shrunk down. It gives you a nice kick, and that's very important because that will turn the hook over in the fish's mouth. So getting that kick on the hook is very important because it will turn the hook over in the fish's mouth. So the placement of the shrink tubing, the lower piece of shrink tubing, is quite important. And if you see at the moment, I've got it about in line with the tip of the hook. When you pull it over the top of your hand, it will hook in, but it might slide for a little while. If you take that bit of tubing and slide it right down to the bottom of the hook, you'll see that it will almost instantaneously kick over every time because the shrink tubing is forcing the hook round, so the point is going down into the bottom of the mouth. So that's your finished rig, and it is a very good rig, but there is a way of making this rig exceptional with a few little tweaks that take that 1% up a bit more, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a little bit of putty to the centre of the rig. Now if I was fishing a long way, I'd probably just use a slider on there, but in this case I'm going to use a bit of putty. And the reason I like putty is you can use as big a bit or as small a bit as you like. In this case it is just a pinch going on to the hook link, and I like to put it about 3/4 of the way down, not the centre. And there's a reason for that. If you're using a supple hook link, I found that you get a lot less tangles when you put that bit of putty 3/4 of the way down than putting it in the middle. The middle creates a fold point. If you put it near the end, it actually uses weight to push out, so you don't get half as many tangles with a supple hook link. So now we're going to sharpen the hook. And I won't go in depth about sharpening the hooks. There's a video in the link below in the description that will tell you all about sharpening hooks. Go onto there and we'll go a lot more in depth in it. But right now I'm going to get this rig ready and show you how them little 1% make it so much more effective. So now you've got an improved anti-blowback rig. That bit of putty 3/4 of the way down will not only hold the hook link down, but it'll aid you in your cast for anti-tangle. Then I've sharpened the hook to make it even more effective. We've pulled the tubing round right on the bend to make that hook flip over even faster. This is the perfect carp rig and has caught me a lot of big fish.